Hi everyone. So finally, Bangladesh won the series after a very exciting match and also proved many of his haters wrong. What do you think about that, Majid?
You're absolutely right, bhai. It was a treat to watch for both the fans, be it a Bangladeshi fan or Pakistani fan. It was really an exciting match. I think Bangladesh posted a good total. And on that note, I wanted you to ask Arshad bhai. You always tell me that Bangladesh doesn't have a good batting firepower and they don't bat really well. So what do you say about Bangladesh's batting that they showed yesterday?
Okay, so first of all, how Bangladesh started in their batting is good. I mean, to be
Exactly.
honest, I will say that Tamim had an amazing century, maiden century,
Hmm.
and at the same time, the opening stand were near 100, which is something that I don't see much for Bangladesh.
Hmm.
And so that means it was, and that's what actually gave the ground for the next batters to actually continue the innings. But if you look into the overall innings, you will see that Bangladesh could easily post more than 300 runs, but Bangladesh
Hmm.
failed to do that. At the end, the way Bangladesh batted, our Liton Dash or Tawhid Rizal, approach they followed during the batting, they were, I mean, it is completely unacceptable. So even though I'm happy that Bangladesh could post a total with near to, but still, I do not feel convinced that it is a good batting.
You're absolutely right, bhai, because I think as soon as Bangladesh had a very solid platform at the opening, they could have aimed for more than 300. I think
Yes.
at the halfway mark, that the team management of Bangladesh also felt the same way, that they were at
Hmm.
least 20 runs or 25 runs short.
Hmm.
At one point, it was looking like with the amount of wickets that they had, it was looking like they were going aiming for something like 330 or so.
Hmm.
But what I feel that if you look into the batting order after Liton Dash, there is Afif Hussain who has recently come onto the national team setup, who hasn't
Hmm.
played ODI match recently, and then comes Mehdi Hassan Miraj, who has not been in the best of the batting shape, and then
Hmm.
comes all the bowlers. Rishad Hossain is not actually a proven finisher or a proven batter in the ODI lineup. His
Hmm.
best batting performance was against Sri Lanka. He smashed like Hasaranga for several
Hmm.
sixes. So that was his best batting performance. But after that, he hasn't showed any glimpse of his batting talent
Hmm.
in the ODIs. Then comes the three genuine bowlers. They don't have any specific batting display and batting capacity or batting prowess. So that's why
Hmm.
I think the middle order batter, when they came into the death over, they had that particular thing back in their mind that if they lose their wicket
Hmm.
right now, then there's a chance that Bangladesh will lose all their wickets in a rush. So I think that in this particular situation, we need to have someone like a solid all rounder who can actually
Hmm.
both contribute in the bowling department and also in the batting department. I think if Mehdi Hassan Miraj could actually elevate his batting performance a
Hmm.
bit better, I think it would make the life of Bangladeshi batters a bit more easier so that they can express themselves when the death over comes.
I think you have I mean pointed out the one of the key problem in Bangladeshi batting lineup. So basically, and this is not just a problem for our ODI team or our T20 side or any side. So basically, if you see our historic data, Bangladesh was never good in the slog over. That means you
True.
will see that based on the data, you can see that which we already showed in another video. So we are seeing that Bangladesh is always lagging behind other teams like India, New Zealand, South Africa in terms of the slog over run and strike rate. So that means that we are not historically incapable of actually scoring big shots in the
Hmm.
slog over. Now,
Hmm.
why is that? So this problem is not just a today problem or yesterday problem. It was the problem was always there. But why the problem is there? If you look a little bit back, so or if you think about our cricketing culture, so the way actually our players are selected, our players are groomed, or I mean, team management selects player or selection board selects players. So basically, they actually look into the paper data. So they see that okay, we have five top run scorer. Okay, so then they select the five top run scorer in the team. Then they select five top wicket taker, and that's how they select the bowlers. you see that many times, and that's how we can see that. Or definitely, if you're an opener, you have the higher chance of scoring more runs, right? Because you are
Mhm,
coming down at number one or number two. There is a high chance that you're selecting five openers in a team
mhm,
or five top order batter in a team that you cannot actually put into the team. It's not possible actually because a top order batter, they have a very different batting style. They have a
mhm,
different way of batting. But the thing is, for specialized positions, like for example, at number six, at number seven, the way we select players is different, or the requirement of the players are different. Like actually, we need more utility players there rather than specialized batters who can
mhm,
actually who can be an all rounder, who can be a who can actually score some 30 or 40 quick runs. So that's what is required for number six or number seven position. Bangladesh does not actually, based on our overall cricket infrastructure, we do not actually value this type of players, or the culture is not there. And sometimes and we actually also do not develop players for those positions in some way. So I want to give a share a small story here. So basically, just a few, I think last year probably, there was a series between Australia and India. So I saw that Cooper Connolly was selected there for the ODI match. The match was in India. So I was feeling that, okay, why Cooper Connolly is selected? Because he's a new player. So I went to look into his record in the list, and I was surprised to see that his batting average in the list is only to 30, and he was playing at number six. So I was surprised. I was like, okay, why Cooper Connolly is there, right?
mhm.
I mean, definitely he is not. He doesn't seem like he's a very good player for the that particular position.
True.
Then actually I digged a little bit uh, more, and then I saw that okay, Cooper Connolly is an orthodox bowler, left-arm orthodox bowler. So that means they needed an orthodox bowler, left-arm orthodox bowler who is an all-rounder. And Cooper Connolly has a good record in the T20, and that's why they thought that okay, this player he can actually hit. If you look into Cooper Connolly's data, you will see that Cooper Connolly has a very good strike rate, a very good average at number five or number six positions. So that means they have go through the thinking process that okay, this player has the potential to play this particular role at number six, where they can have an additional of all-rounder who can also have some explosive innings. So this thought way of thinking when you're selecting a player is not present in Bangladesh. And that's why we will never actually have a player who is genuinely good for number six and number seven.
You're absolutely right, Bhaiya. I think on that particular note, they have selected Afif Hussain thinking that they would slot him into the number 6 or 7 position. But if you see in the domestic season, like when he plays for Abahoni or some other franchises in the domestic, he usually plays in number 4 or 5. So
Hmm.
he doesn't have the batting style to bat at the number 6 or 7 position, where you will have less deliveries to perform, and you
Hmm.
have to score quick runs to get more scores as much as possible. So I think our domestic infrastructures are not developed that way. You have pointed the right things in this particular situation, I think. So let's talk about the bowling performance for Bangladesh. After a long time, we are really pleased to see the performance of Taskin Ahmed. He has
Yes.
been the key strike bowlers for us for quite a number of years, and he had
Hmm.
been struggling for form for the last 6 or 7 months due to his fitness issue or some other reasons. We don't know exactly what's the issue, but he has been seen him to perform better in this particular ODI series, especially in the last game. What will you say about his performance?
So Taskir Ahmed, I will say that basically to be very honest, if I in the after the second match, I was actually in favor of dropping Taskin Ahmed and bringing Shoriful
Exactly.
Islam in, because I think also you would agree, and I can say many Bangladeshi fans would agree to that point, because he was not actually having the good bowling shape. His fitness was a problem, and obviously now his bowling speed is actually lower, and he is also unable to maintain the right line and length. So he was actually becoming more and more expensive. So I was feeling that okay, he is not. I mean, I was having, and if you look into our one of our video, you will see that we actually put him into the concerned list, even though
Hmm.
data was actually speaking in favor of him. because of
Mhm.
his fitness issue and also some recent bad performance. But I feel like maybe the way team backed him in the third match, and he got some confidence in himself, and at the same time he also maintained wonderful line and length
True.
in the third match. And I think he was in a flow because after two matches he understood that okay, I have to ball in this particular length and then I will be successful. And that worked in the third match. If you look into the wicket of Mohammad Rizwan, so
Mhm.
basically, in case of Mohammad Rizwan, he did not ball at 140 or some odd. Actually, his ball was somewhere 137, the bowling speed. But the movement, if you see that, so Mohammad Rizwan was expecting the ball to be so in his trigger movement, he was expecting the ball to be in the offside region. So then Taskin Ahmed actually used the presence of mind, and actually the ball became the kind of the incoming delivery that Mohammad Rizwan was unable to predict. And that's how it got out. As you can see that in this figure that he did not know after the ball bounced and started moving, Mohammad Rizwan is not actually looking at the ball anymore because the ball is lost from him because the ball was moving inside. So
Mhm.
he actually utilized the movement of the ball very well. After I mean, I was expecting him to get 5 wickets, but anyway, I will say that it's a very solid performance, and I hope that he can continue to this.
You're absolutely right, bhai. We are all very happy to see Taskin Ahmed back. I think you will also agree with me. I am also really happy to see Mehdi Hasan Miraj's bowling performance in this particular ODI
Yeah.
series. We all know that this in this series, Mirpur doesn't have that typical
Hmm.
black soil pitch or like the spinning. So
Hmm.
based on this particular condition, Mehdi Hasan Miraj has done exceptionally well in the first ODI. He has an economy of 2.9 in 10 overs. He took 3 wickets. In the second ODI, he took 2 wickets at the cost of 3.4 economy. He completed his 10 overs of quota and with a two maiden. And in the third
Hmm.
ODI, he didn't get any wicket, but he had an extremely miserly economy of 3.7 within his 10 overs. And many people were saying that he's actually taking his chances during his bowling. Like he's bowling
Yeah.
at the situation where where it suits him the most.
Yeah,
But
it's favorable.
yeah, but I think he was a bit brave. Like in the first ODI, he came inside the first power play.
Yeah.
He introduced himself in the ninth over, and at that
Hmm.
time, not Mas Sadakat was in the strike. There were Sahibzada Ridwan, Sahibzada Farhan was actually on the strike.
Hmm.
So he was a right-hander, and he didn't concede too many runs. I think he conceded just 1 run at the last ball of the over. So it was really exciting to see him. And similarly, in the third ODI, when he introduced himself, there were two right-handed batters. So he
Hmm.
actually kept the pressure from one end. If you can see in this particular data that we have shown in this screen, that he tried to consume the Pakistani batters with a lot of dot balls. In the first
Hmm.
ODI, he actually conceded 45 dot balls. In the second ODI, 37 dot balls, and in the third ODI, 31 dot balls. So based on the scores that Bangladesh was defending in the third ODI, the 31 dot balls in 10 overs is actually massive. So
Hmm.
I think Media Samiraj had, I think he tried to like gave himself more time in the middle while doing his bowling. That's why I think he tried to use all of his 10 overs of quota, especially in the first ODI and also in the rest of the ODIs. So that's what my opinion is in this particular situation.
So do you think so basically if I look into the social media, I'm seeing that there are a lot of criticism against Media Miraj, like as you mentioned already that he is opportunistic, he is this, he is that.
Hmm.
Even many of the people are actually criticizing his captaincy. Like actually, in some way, I also criticize his captaincy in certain cases. Like for example, you will see that in many cases, he actually miscalculated the number of overs left for the
Hmm.
bowler. It
Yeah,
happened in against West Indies. It happened
West
here
Indies.
as well because, and that's why we only had 1 over left for Rishad Hossain at the last over. Now, again, I will say that okay, this time it worked out even, but you see that there is some risk involved to that. And when you look into his way of actually utilizing the bowler, there are certain things that he misses out. That okay, how to actually organize the bowler in a way so that you have the best possible player in bowler in the right places.
Mhm.
What is your view on that? Do you think that the criticisms are justified, or do you think that some of the criticisms are completely unnecessary, or maybe coming out of the hatred for him?
Yeah, I think maybe Hassan has been a bit unlucky in this particular situation. I know he made some mistake in the series against West Indies where he actually misjudged. If you can
Mm,
see from his body language, he actually misjudged the situation and he couldn't
mm,
actually he could bring the proper bowler in the right time. But I think in
mm,
the last ODI against Pakistan, what he tried to do is that he tried to take all the wickets with his premium bowlers at
mm,
first, so that he doesn't
yes.
have to use the extra over that he didn't use from either Rishad Hussain or Saif Hassan. He wanted to take all the
Mm,
wickets before with Nahid Rana, Taskin, and Mustafiz. But
mm,
unfortunately, Shaheen Shah Afridi played really well in that situation. He hold one end, hold the innings from one end, and Salman Ali Agha charged from the other end. And when Salman Ali Agha got out, Shaheen Shah Afridi took the charge. But I
mm,
think for the match against Pakistan in the last ODI, I think Medias and Miraj tried to do the right thing. Like he tried to be aggressive so that he can take all the wickets before utilizing his weakest link of the bowling lineup. That's what I.
No, basically, the way I was seeing that, I mean, Mehdi Hasan Mirat, I mean, some of the things about his captaincy I really appreciated in certain cases, but I still think that he has a lot to learn. In fact, in case of actually, in one of his interviews, he mentioned that he was scared at the last over, but actually, on the last over, Pakistan needed 14 runs in 6 balls. So I felt like that, I mean, the temperament or the calmness, this is where actually many of the Bangladeshi captains or players actually misses that how to be calm even though you are I mean you will see that certain like many teams, even though they are lagging behind, they will have the braveness or they
Mhm.
will act brave. So this is where I feel like Bangladesh is a little bit lagging behind from many other.
Yeah, I think you have spotted the right thing. I think another key point that has been lurking around during the whole series, the exclusion of Soumya Sarkar from the whole series, even though he was in the squad. Personally, I thought that the innings that Soumya Sarkar played in the last innings against West Indies, also he hasn't been that bad in the West Indies series overall. So that he needs to be dropped in the 11 from the starting 11 of the Pakistan series. If you can see that Saif Hassan and Tanzid Hassan Tamim, they have paired in this particular ODI series.
Mm,
Selectors actually backed Tanzid Hassan Tamim because he was in very good form in the domestic season, and also I think they backed Saif Hassan to maintain the right and left hand combination. But we all know that Saif Hassan has a vulnerable situation when it comes to the facing the swing bowling, and he consumes a
mm,
lot more dot balls. His getaway shot is to score a boundary, be it a 4 or a 6, right?
mm,
So if we can see on the screen that the as per the last 5 ODI batting performances, Saif Hassan did on an average, except for one particular match where it scored an
mm.
80-run innings against West Indies out of 72
And
balls.
it was Chinese.
So apart from that, his performance has not been that much great. In that innings where he scored 80 runs among 72 balls, the amount of runs scored in boundary, the percentage was 75%. So he scored 60 runs in boundaries, and he took only just 15 singles, and he
Mm,
consumed 58% of dot balls. Even though
mm,
his strike rate was over 100, but his dot ball consumption is more than 50%, close to 60%. So in another occasion where he scored 6 runs in 16 deliveries, this was the match against West Indies. So in that case, he scored among the 6 runs. There was no single. There was only one shot that was a 6. and
Yeah.
all the 15 balls were actually dot balls.
Dot-
So you can clearly see that Saif Hassan has a clear weakness of not scoring singles. Like if he can't score singles, he needs to score boundaries, and if he can't score boundaries, he will throw away his wicket. That's what happened
Right.
in this particular Pakistan series also, where he threw away his wicket in the first and second ODI after he was dealt with some pressure. But in case of Soumya Sarkar, you can see that if he faces some sort of pressure by consuming some dot balls, he can rotate the strike. If you can see in the last five ODI batting performances, scores are 90, 91, 45, 73, 2 runs and 19 runs. And among them, among the innings where he scored 91 runs, there was 29 singles. Among the score where he scored 45 runs, there was 23 singles, and where he scored 73 runs, there were 21 singles. So you can see that if he can score some amount of runs, there has been a mixture of scoring singles, scoring doubles, and scoring in boundaries. So he can actually build his innings in a proper way. He can play according to the merit of the ball. He doesn't actually go to only two ways, either block or hit a six, like Saif Hassan. So I think Saif Hassan has been a great find for Bangladesh in the T20 setup, but he still needs to prove his worth in the ODI setup. He needs to work on how to play the initial overs in the power play, facing the swing bowlers or the fast bowlers, and he needs to show some maturity, how to rotate the strike. Then I think he would be a great prospect. But at present, Soumya Sarkar needs to be present in the starting 11 right away. There is no other alternative. He has been a big match performer for Bangladesh, and New Zealand series is coming up.
Yes.
Soumya Sarkar has a very good record against New Zealand. So I think the captains and the team management should back Soumya Sarkar to play him in the starting 11. What do you say about that?
Okay, so basically about the exclusion of Soumya Sarkar, I do agree with you that Soumya Sarkar deserves to be in the team, but I think the way I'm seeing it is that the way actually the team management thing, they have some kind of prejudices. So one of the thing is that they want a left hand right hand combination. Now it is true that yes, it has some advantages. I do understand, but at the same time, you will not use someone who who is in bad form, even though he is just to maintain the right hand left hand combination. Now, one of the things about the data that I have mentioned about his 80 odd innings against West Indies, it is also true that the pitch, it was extremely in poor condition, and in that pitch, the way he played the innings, the only way of dealing that pitch was to actually hit boundaries. That is also one of the points. So I would say that the innings that he played, even though there were so many dot balls, but actually he actually dominated the innings. Now, one thing I always say that even in one of the previous video, I mentioned that if you're consuming dot balls, but you can actually cover that up with boundaries, it is in somewhat acceptable. Yes, you could have maybe one or two singles would actually increase the score, but again, with your boundaries, you can actually cover that up if you have the confidence to do that. But that's a very risky approach, because sometimes it happens that whenever you are consuming too many dot balls, you became more aggressive. You want to hit every ball, but you are not actually judging the merit of the ball. So I think this is the places where Saif Hassan needs to improve a lot. Now, one of the problem with about dropping Saif Hassan is that Saif Hassan is a batting is an all-rounder. So when you have Saif Hassan in the team, you can actually utilize him as a bowler as well. Yes, Maiden has an amazing series, but at the same time, you see that Rishad was actually having a tough time in the third ODI, and Saif Hassan was the one who was utilized to cover some of the overs from Rishad Hassan. Having a solid sixth bowler is very important for your team. So if you drop if you drop Saif Hassan, so basically you are sacrificing your sixth bowling option. Now, a very reliable sixth bowling option. Now, at the same time, Tanzid Tamim just scored a century in the last ODI. So, in the New Zealand series, it will be very hard to actually drop someone who just scored a century in the last match.
Yeah.
So this is going to Now, another problem that is coming along is that Soumya Sarkar, he also had amazing record against New Zealand.
Hmm.
So there is a huge dilemma for the next series that how Bangladesh is going to line up in the opening slot. Now, one of the suggestions that I am always proposing is that actually keep three of them, but use Taifasan in the at number 3 or number 4, because in that
Exactly.
manner, Taifasan. Now the thing is, as it is very much apparent that Taifasan cannot play. I mean, it struggles against the swing of the ball. So at
Mhm.
that particular position, like number 3 or number 4, he is unlikely to face the new ball, mean new ball. That means just new ball. So he will not face that. Rather, he can actually now there yes he can actually score because when the ball is moving, he can actually utilize the become more aggressive and actually try to play at a strike rate of 90 to 100. That he can do that. Even he can deal with the boundaries. So this is something that team management can think about, because the way Tohid Hridoy is playing, it is not very convincing, honestly. I
Hmm.
mean, Tohid Hridoy, yes, I mean, you can see that he scored some run in the last ODI, but again, I'm actually seeing that is the approach is completely negative. They wanted to improve their batting average so that
Mhm.
based on the paper it looks good. It was, I mean, um, Rohit was completely unable to innovate the shots. Like in these pitches, you have to be a little bit more proactive to find that how you can calculate it, that how you can just put boundaries. I mean, Salman Ali Aga did. So
Mhm.
even I mean, Shahin Shah Afridi did that. So, but
True.
our Tohid Hridoy, who is a genuine batter, cannot do that. And at the same time, Tohid Hridoy, I will always say that he is not even an all-rounder. So you cannot actually without his batting, actually, he doesn't have any specific capability to contribute to the team.
Mhm.
So why carry a player like that? I mean, if he were a player who can actually who could score century in almost once in a while, I would definitely back him. But to be honest, Tohidita is not bringing anything in the table, I would say. So this can be my suggestion, but I know that Bangladesh is never going to listen.
That's really disappointing. We all know that. So let's try to wrap up the series, like in a nutshell. Like, what do you think how Bangladesh did, and in terms of Pakistan, where they lacked that actually kept him from winning the particular series?
So basically, okay. Um, About the series, if I want to talk about how Bangladesh performed, I would say that, okay, it's a good series win. But at the same time, we have to keep one note, and that is that the Pakistan team that we faced, it was not a very strong Pakistan team. That we have to accept this fact. Now,
Yes.
it's not our fault, obviously, but the team was not like, I mean, you see that many key players were missing. Yet, in the third ODI, in the second ODI, we lost miserably. And in the third ODI, we owned the match, but it was I mean, I will not say it's a very convincing win against I mean, such a team, I would say. So, because the team was actually weak. And as you can see that, Pakistan at one point, they were 82 runs in 5 wickets, and still they were managed to come closer to the match. So, you see that still there is a clear gap. I mean, they could have owned the match if they have a few batters. But yes, I mean, somehow we own the match. So the thing is, yes, I'm happy about the match. Happy about winning the series. This is very important for our 2027 ODI World Cup qualification. So that, I mean, we can be within within the threshold, so that we don't have to play the qualifier. But at the same time, we also have to acknowledge that our team is not. I mean, we did not have a very strong. There's a win, but a very not a very strong
Mhm.
win that we can boast about.
True.
What's your view?
You are absolutely right. I think the most important part of our concern is the middle order batting. Like,
Yeah.
if you can compare the middle order batting for Pakistan and Bangladesh, Pakistan has a very solid middle order. They tried to use Salman Ali Agha in different positions
Yeah.
from position number 4 to position number 5 and 6. So
Hmm.
they are actually trying to float him in these three positions to see where they can use their resources the best.
Yeah.
Yesterday, they have used Ghazi Gori and Abdul Samad. at number 3 and number 4 and 5, I think. So they did a very good job. They had a 50 runs of more than 50 runs of partnership. So that actually gave him a bit more space for Salman Ali Agha to explore and actually hold the lower end, tail end of the batting lineup. But if you see, in case of Bangladesh, we have the quality like Liton Das, Afif Hossain. If he can be promoted up the order, he can be a great asset. But unfortunately, we are not putting the right man in the right place. You know that we have the potential, but we are not using our resources properly. That's what I'm feeling, and you are also feeling the same way.
Yeah.
So I think if the middle order situation gets a solution, I think Bangladesh will have a very good batting lineup, because in the opening position there are several contestants who can fight for the playing position in the playing 11. Number 3 and 4 are almost fixed. It will be Nazmul Hossain, Shanta, Liton Das. But after that, you need to bring up Afif Hossain one slot up, so that he is a type of player who can actually build an innings and play a long innings. So you need to bring him up. But I'm not sure management is going to do this way, because they are actually backing Tauhid Hidayat, and Tauhid Hidayat has also performed in the domestic cricket leagues in the number 4 or 5 positions. That's why the selectors don't have much much backing, so that they can actually move him from number 5 to number 6 or 7, even though it might be a good situation for him.
At the same time, even I think that he will perform better at number 6. It is true. I mean, I'm saying that, but it's not like he will perform in. But his performance still will not suit that particular position. That's how I see that. I mean, he will perform better from his perspective. Like, he will maybe score at a bit more higher strike rate. Maybe he will get more runs. But at the same time, still you will see that if you think about yesterday's match, the way he batted, yes, his strike rate is more than 100. But do you think that it was convincing for that role, that for number 6? Of course, no. So, and this is where my concern come along, that as a batter, Tauhid Hridoy, I mean, you are kind of settled in the ground, but still you are unable to go for big shots. You cannot to hit big shots whenever you are trying to hit a big shot. You can't even touch the ball. So that's how you are batting. So now, yes, in domestic circle, Tauhid Hridoy plays have a good record. But if you think the way his innings progresses, still you cannot be convinced with that. Sometimes you will see that many a times he like 100, but if you see the way the innings progresses, it's not like modern day ODI. So this is something, because in domestic cricket, you are actually not facing the not so good international level bowlers, right? So you can recharge there. You should keep a good strike rate there. You should score a bigger run, because this. I mean, obviously our domestic circuit is not extremely strong, right? But actually, the way he performs does not actually show that he is capable enough for the. I mean, he scores very slowly. He consumes so many dot balls, even in the domestic cricket. So, and that's what is reflected in the international arena in many cases. I don't want to say that about a player, but I have to say that I mean, Tauhid Hridoy is not bringing anything on the table, because he's not an all-rounder. He's not a utility player. He's just a player who may score like 30 or 40 odd runs at a 60, 70 strike rate. So that's not suitable for modern day. That maybe is suitable for test cricket. Maybe. I mean, not always, but for ODI.
Yeah, you're right. So on that note, we would like to end our discussion in here. I hope you like our video. Please do feel free to share and share your thoughts in the comment box. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, and we will come up with a new video in the coming days. Please stay tuned.